All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode, episode 14 of My Gateway Experience. And on today's episode, we will be talking about the release and recharge tape. The purpose of these videos is to document my journey through the all six waves of the Monroe Institute's Gateway Experience. Right now, I'm only on the first wave. We're just beginning. And as I stated, I am on the release and recharge tape. I did the other tapes. I didn't keep track exactly of how many times I listened to them, but I did keep track of the Advanced Focus 10 tape. And that was good. I did it for 10 times. And if you haven't seen my other videos, go ahead and check them out if you missed them. That way you can get caught up because I will be referencing pretty much directly building upon the previous episode on this episode. So let's get right into it. Right now it is 9:28 a.m. I woke up at 7 a.m. and it is Wednesday, September 7th, 2022. Last night I went to sleep a little bit later, but I got some action in. I had an interview with somebody in the previous industry that I worked at, offering me to be a partner, co-owner of his company. So, thinking about that, I think that's not a bad idea. It's a good way for me to grow my uh, business and to grow my funds and to also help my family move forward. And it's a skill that I already have. But anyway, talking more about the experience, that's related because it was hard for me to stop thinking about that. I guess I was very excited about it. I was very excited about the prospect of it and the idea of it and the relationship that I built. And it was a good relationship. I like the guy. We got along well, and I think our values align. So yeah, it's something that I might be looking to do. But it was hard for me to stop thinking about it. But because of that, I also woke up earlier. I kept thinking about it. I had a dream about it. I had a dream of like potentially the future, what could happen in that, and so yeah, it was very exciting. And so I woke up at 7. Now it's 9:30. I went ahead and did my routines, and I took a cold shower, and I played around with the kids a little bit, and made sure that my wife was feeling good. So all that is doing good. And as I went into my practice for the release and recharge practice, it was funny because it talked about a lot of what we talked about in yesterday's video. It was directly correlated, as I had really no idea that it was going to be about this. I thought I was going to be going into like Focus 12 already just because of some of the progression that I've heard from just the YouTube videos on the Monroe Institute's channel. But it was actually about release and recharge. And the whole purpose of this practice is to kind of take some of the training wheels off, and there's no guidance when it comes to the energy conversion box at first, and then the resonant energy breathing, and then practicing our rebound. And then we also have to do our affirmation. Now, in the previous tape, they didn't have me do my affirmation, so I was a little bit rusty, so I didn't actually do it for today's video. And another interesting thing that while I was in the middle of the practice, I'll get to that in a second, but the affirmation that we want to practice, I reread it, and so I want to say it out loud here. That way I can commit it to memory. It's, I am more than my physical body. And because I am more than physical matter, I deeply desire to expand, to experience, to know, to understand, to control, and to use such higher energies. And the purpose would be as may benefit myself and those near and close to me. Also, I deeply desire, and that was a little bit choppy, but also I deeply desire the assistance, the help, assistance, and cooperation of those whose knowledge, experience, and wisdom is equal or greater than my own. Something along those lines. I'm going to have to reread it and make sure that I have it so that, because part of the practice is to say that in your head. And you can also change it a little bit and also incorporate your own affirmations based on what you desire out of the practice. But we do that after we do our first 3 steps of converge, ECB, breathing, rebel, affirmation, unguided. So they just kind of give us that space to do it by ourselves, to practice it. And then Monroe steps in and he talks to us about this release and recharge practice, which is talking about focusing on our energy conversion box and looking at fear. What was our first radiation of fear? There's a total of 3 that he has us focus on. But the first one that we focus on is whatever we choose it to be. And if we don't have an experience of fear, then that's fine. Later on, we'll likely come up with one because we all experience it in our lives. And I immediately thought of like some of the things when I first started doing my business, the business that I was just talking about, directly correlated. And I thought about maybe and then after we focus on the fear, we we take that fear out of the box, and then we just allow it to just bubble away. Allow it to just go away so that we don't associate the memory with that feeling anymore, with the fear. And then we focus on the emotion associated with that memory. So we look at the emotion. What was the emotion? I felt maybe a little bit of excitement. I felt maybe a little bit of potential embarrassment because I was talking with people, and I didn't really know how to explain the emotion that I felt. I was excited even though I was afraid. But yeah, I think embarrassment definitely plays into it, and maybe some other emotions like shame. I think that kind of has to do with embarrassment. But I'm not the best at explaining my emotions, so I'm not even going to try to go too far into that. But that's the second step. And then after that, after we look at that emotion and we identify it, then we allow that emotion to just bubble away. And then we look at our box again and we imagine the memory, we see the memory, but this time we associate an emotion of clarity, of clean, pure, unfiltered, or I don't want to say filtered, untainted emotion, meaning like innocent, like if you were a child going through the experience, how children play in a field and they don't really care, they just experience joy. And so we want to pay attention to that emotion and bring it inside of us now, associated with memory. And the reason why that directly correlates with yesterday's video is because now it's very step by step of allowing our memories to be part of us, but without the negative emotion and negative feeling and fear that we associated with that. And the purpose of that is to allow us to then be able to see our memories and our experiences without being so deeply impacted in a negative way. Because what happens is if we associate a negative feeling with that emotion, we don't want to think about it. We want to think about something else. And there might be useful information in that memory that we could garner and just be normal about it. And that way it's effortless. So we're cleaning out our energies. We're cleaning out so that we can move towards our future without all this baggage that we may have built up. And just feels lighter. It feels great. And that was the first kind of memory that I focused on, my first radiation of fear. And then we go into a second and a third. And then after the third, then he has to go into focus 10, simply by thinking of the number 10. So taking the training wheels off, we're not really building up. We're just using it like we've already built up throughout this entire time. And then to go back to focus 1, to C1, we just think of the number 1. And we just move our fingers. and we're back to being alert. So this is my first day doing this. It wasn't perfect. The thing that I wanted to talk about is that as I was going through my first memory, I actually thought of a different memory. I was kind of mixing memories in. I thought about like my earliest, because when he said the first radiation of fear, I really thought he meant, first I was thinking about work, but then after that, I thought about my actual first memory, most impactful memory of fear, which is when I was a child, and it was very deeply disturbing for me personally. And I was going through the practice, and I was really doing my best, and I felt myself shaking with emotion, and it was crazy. So um, the interesting part about it though is that my wife was coming out of our bedroom, and my kids were with her, and then she went to disarm our alarm system. And as she disarmed the alarm system, and I was simultaneously pulling in the clean energy and really looking to purge this kind of negativity that I picked up from when I was a child, my audio system cut out. I don't know how or what happened, what kind of interaction it had to do with my alarm system being disarmed, but I was confused. I was like, why did my audio system cut out? What's wrong with the tape? Is there something wrong with the tape? So I checked it. I tried to fast forward, no sound. Restarted my computer, no sound. I'm like, man, this is weird. This is really crazy. So I just had to unplug and replug back in my headphones, and then the sound was back. But that slightly interrupted my practice. I just picked up where I left off. I didn't start it over because I am short on time. So that's why I was a little bit later as well, as well as playing with my kids and stuff. I usually take about 2 hours from waking up to getting here to record and everything. Um, that's why you'll see this. My son was he was coming over here trying to use my computer because I have these headphones, but these are his headphones. So, um, but yeah, I think that all in all, it's a great experience. I want to keep doing it. I want to practice it and really garner the benefits from it. Obviously, this is very intuitive, as I've stated before. It seems like there's almost a predictive aspect for the next step. And I found out because what I did is I went and I read the manual for, because I needed to read the affirmation, so I wanted to see what it was again so I could practice it. And I read the Gateway Experience First Wave Discovery is what it's called, so that's what I found out. But I read the manual so that I could, it's like an instructional manual so that I could find out all that information and figure out exactly where I was at and where I was going. So the next one is going to be about sleep, and then the one after that is going to be about focus, free flow. So we'll be able to just do it on our own. And then after that, I believe it has something to do with essence. I don't know exactly what it's called. I can pull it up right now. I think I have it somewhere here. It's called the wave two is called threshold. So whatever that means. The first wave was called discovery, and the next wave after this is going to be threshold. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this 10 times, but I think I will. That's going to be my goal first. I'm just going to say it, put it out there, and I probably will do it 10 times now that I'm making it my goal. I'm not sure. I think it is necessary. But I'm not sure, but I think it is necessary to do it at least 10 times because it might seem like maybe a long journey of 10 days. It's like a third of a month to just spend on one tape. But I think it'll pay off in the long run. I think it's something that, like with the other tape that we did, the Advanced Focus 10, it seemed like I really was able to crystallize all the necessary points required to really understand what it is that we're doing in that practice. And you can check out my previous video if you didn't get that one. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next video as well to kind of build up on the experience that we've had so far and to really explore and discover more about myself and the world we live in. So until next time, I will see you guys soon. Peace.